Today, we're talking about building a bridge, not with steel or concrete, but with code. We're going to explore a really critical piece of infrastructure that connects the world's biggest companies to the future of the internet. This is the Java bridge to Web3. Let's dive in. So it all kicks off with this simple but actually pretty profound question. How does a massive global bank or a giant telecom company, any huge corporation running on decades of super stable, secure code, how do they connect to the wild, fast-moving world of the blockchain? How does Wall Street actually talk to Ethereum? Because you've got these two totally different universes, right? On one side, you have the enterprise world. This is the kingdom of Java for, over 2 decades now? It's been the absolute bedrock for mission-critical systems. Think stability, performance, handling billions of dollars. And on the other side, you've got the blockchain world. This is the frontier. Ethereum, decentralized innovation, smart contracts, whole new ways of thinking about money. And for the longest time, these two worlds just didn't speak the same language. And look, this wasn't just some simple translation problem. The divide was deep. Enterprise systems, they demand strict rules, rock-solid security, and predictable outcomes. Blockchain, by its very nature, is asynchronous, it's event-driven. You couldn't just slap a connector on there and hope for the best. You can't risk a multi-million-dollar transaction on some flimsy, thrown-together link. So, how do you solve it? How do you bridge that great divide? Well, you build a translator specifically for the job. And in the world of Java and Ethereum, that translator has a name, Web3j. It is the elegant, powerful solution that was designed from the ground up to connect these two universes and to do it safely and reliably. Okay, so let's break down what that actually means. Web3j is a Java library. Modular just means it's flexible, not some giant clunky thing. Reactive means it's built to handle the way blockchain works. All those asynchronous events, it handles them really efficiently. And type safe? Honestly, that might be the most important phrase on this slide for any big company. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Type safety means the code itself prevents entire categories of bugs before they can ever happen. When you're moving data between the kind of loosely typed world of blockchain and the super strictly typed world of enterprise Java, this isn't a nice to have. For a bank, it is, quite literally, the difference between success and a catastrophic, multi-million-dollar failure. So how does Web3j pull off this magic trick? How does it take the, alien language of a smart contract and make it look and feel just like plain old everyday Java code? Well, the secret sauce is in its powerful code generation tools. It's a beautifully simple 3-step process. First, a developer writes their business logic in a Solidity smart contract. Pretty standard stuff. Second, they compile that contract, and it spits out 2 key files, the ABI, which is kind of like an instruction manual, and the bin, which is the actual code. And finally, and this is the awesome part, they feed those 2 files into Web3j, and it automatically generates a clean Java class, or a wrapper, that makes talking to that smart contract as easy as calling any other method in Java. And this table right here, this makes that whole abstract idea really concrete. Web3j handles all the tricky data conversions for you. See that uint 256? That's a number common in crypto that's way too big for a standard Java integer. No problem. Web3j automatically converts it to the right big integer class. An Ethereum address just becomes a simple string. All of this happens behind the scenes, which just wipes out a massive source of potential bugs for developers. Okay, so this isn't just some theoretical tool for coders. Web3j is battle-tested. It's the proven bridge being used right now, powering real-world applications across the entire global economy. Let's actually look at the numbers. Over 2 million downloads. Yeah, this is not a niche library. This is the de facto standard for any serious Java-based blockchain development. That number represents thousands and thousands of projects, from tiny startups all the way to the largest corporations on the planet, all relying on Web3j. And you can just see the sheer breadth of who's using it. I mean, we're talking about huge players in finance, exploring tokenized assets. In telecom and consumer electronics, it's being used to build the next generation of secure identity. And even the foundational plumbing of Web3 itself, companies like Consensus and Infura, they use this library. This isn't just a tool for one industry. It's a foundational piece of tech for the whole ecosystem. So where does Web3j fit in the wider world of Web3 tools? This table lays it out perfectly. While you have JavaScript libraries like Ethers.js that totally dominate front-end web stuff, and Python's Web3py is really popular in research, Web3j has its own absolutely vital role. Its strengths, that strong static type system and true multi-threading, make it the undisputed champ for building high-performance, secure, enterprise backends. But the story of Web3j doesn't stop there. One of the most important chapters in its history isn't about code at all. It's about governance. It's about how it grew up from being a project into being true public infrastructure. Because in January of 2024, Web3j was adopted by the Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust. Now, this was a monumental step. Why? Well, think about it. Large companies are always a little hesitant to build their future on software that's controlled by a single small company. It feels risky. This move to a neutral, nonprofit home was like a graduation. You can see right here, the oversight shifted from one company to a technical advisory council made up of industry experts. Funding is now handled through a multi-member model, and the intellectual property is held safely by the foundation. The bottom line is this. It guarantees the project is here for the long haul, that it's neutral, and that makes it a safe, long-term bet for any corporation. So this timeline really captures the whole journey perfectly. It all starts back in 2016. Then there's that critical move to the Linux Foundation in 2024, and now we're all looking ahead to the next huge milestone, the release of version 5.0. And version 5.0 isn't just another update, it's about staying on the absolute cutting edge. For instance, it brings full support for something called Account Abstraction. The easy way to think about this is that it's going to make crypto wallets way more user-friendly. We're talking about stuff like recovering lost keys or letting apps pay for your transaction fees. It's also ready for Ethereum's next big upgrades, making sure that developers using Web3j get access to the latest and greatest features the moment they arrive. It shows Web3j isn't just keeping up, it's leading the way. Which brings us right back to where we started. The foundations of our digital world, from finance to our very identity, they're all being rebuilt on this new decentralized technology. So the question isn't just if this new world will be built, but how it's going to connect to everything that already exists. And the answer? Well, it lies in the critical, often unseen infrastructure, the bridges being built by projects just like Web3j.